For my birthday, I received a very special birthday card with a very thoughtful message written in the birthday card. And it had a great gift card in it. And I would like to thank whoever did this very thoughtful gesture, but there was no signature in the card. So that means two things. If you forgot to sign the card, will you please let me know so that I can send you a thank you card? But if you decided not to sign the card on purpose, let this be my public thank you to you right now. I so appreciate it. And how thoughtful that you didn't think I needed to thank you, because I do like to show appreciation when people have done thoughtful things for me. So I try so hard to keep up on my thank you cards, because all those birthday cards, all those thoughtful gestures that are done for me, they really help me. They encourage me. Because I will be honest with you, sometimes I kind of give in to discouragement. Sometimes I kind of wallow in all, am I loved? Am I appreciated? And I slip into this really sad pity party, and it's things like this that help me to remember that I'm loved, that I'm appreciated. And so I like showing my appreciation by saying thank you. But, I will admit there might be times if you've done something for me and if you don't get a thank you card, I'm sorry, because at this point in my life, I seem to be forgetting more and more things than I did in the past. All I know is I should have taken out stock and Post-it notes, because my life is lived by Post-it notes now. I write all these reminders on Post-it notes, and I put Post-it notes everywhere, but now it's gotten to the point where there's too many Post-it notes, so I have to remember to read the Post-it notes to remember what I wrote on the Post-it notes, and that doesn't always happen. I'm so sorry if I haven't taken a moment and thanked you and shown my appreciation for your thoughtfulness. It helps. It helps. And I want to thank you because it's important to remember people who have helped us on our journey and continue to help us. It's especially important to remember God's faithfulness. To remember God's faithfulness. And one of the best ways to remember God's faithfulness is to say thank you to God. Isn't that what happened in our Gospel of Luke, chapter 17, verses 15 to 16? One of the lepers, realizing he had been healed, returned glorifying God in a loud voice, and he fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. And thanked him. He remembered what the Lord had done to him in bringing him healing, and he thanked him. Just like Naaman did in our first reading from the second book of Kings, chapter 5, verse 15. Naaman returned with his whole retinue to the man of God. On his arrival, he stood before him and said, "Now I know that there is no God in all the earth except in Israel. Please accept a gift from your servant." Thank you. Thank you is a great way to remember God's faithfulness, because in remembering God's faithfulness, that will help us through those times where we might be struggling, those times where we might be fighting with illness or other things that make us slip into these pity parties and these oh woes me moments. Remembering God's faithfulness, like St. Paul said in his second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 8, remember Jesus Christ, raised from the dead. So if Jesus Christ can bring life from death, what can he do for us in our time of need? Well, we heard in the first readings that the Lord can bring healing. And the Lord can bring healing into our lives. And the Lord can bring healing into our lives in whatever ways we might be injured or wounded. And the Lord can especially bring new life into our lives, where we maybe have died to something. And so it's important to remember Jesus Christ has been raised from the dead. To remember God's faithfulness. I love because this week in our small group, that is going to be our focus. Remembering God's faithfulness. And in the opening prayer of the You Are Made for This Moment workbook, it goes, Dear God, I confess that at times I have forgotten your power, your great love, and your wisdom. I know I have forgotten these things when I start to rely on myself for strength, discernment, and love. In you, I have in abundance. Holy Spirit, remind me of this truth when I forget it. Oh, there it is, the key. God provides us with something that's even better than a Post-it note. And that's the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, remind me of this truth when I forget it. Holy Spirit, remind me of how the Lord helps me, heals me, encourages me. Holy Spirit, remind me that the Lord can provide me with strength and love. Holy Spirit, help me to remember God's faithfulness. For in remembering God's faithfulness, these memories will help me through the difficult times and help me to trust in the future. Let us celebrate God's faithfulness and remember that God has provided all of us with what I guess we can call a sacred Post-it note, the Holy Spirit.